Oh boy, I finally got my nuke gun rate to 7 stars. I'm gonna hit up this heroic tank raid with my Dacha and my Jawa. It's gonna be awesome, guys. What's up guys, Nukin here, and I'm back with another Galaxy Heroes video, and today we'll be talking about something some people might argue to be a little bit controversial with Stormtrooper Han. He's doing some remarkable damage in the Sith Triumvirate raid against Darth Traya, and we've been here before, boys and girls, in the tank raid with a similar scenario. So let me know in the comments below what you think about all this. So first off, we'll talk about the history of the Nutini team. This is kind of a team and a scenario that this reminds me of that happened with the tank raid team. We'll talk about the mechanics of this specific team in the Sith raid and whether I think it's working as intended or not. We'll talk about the teams that you can run. There's a few different leaderships, Darth Vader and Ventress. We'll also discuss should you invest in these characters and these teams, and we'll take a look at the gameplay together. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. Is this team working as intended? Is it breaking the Sith raid? Is it too much? Is it too overpowered? So let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, and let's just get right into it and have a nice little discussion. All right, so let's start off the discussion with these three teams here. So we have the Nutini team above at the top, and then we have Stormtrooper Han and the two different teams that are working in the Sith Triumvirate raid right now. So this situation kind of reminds me of the Nutini team. So there was a combination of the passive of Jawas in the tank raid with Nuke Gunray's leadership allowed 3 characters that were even undergeared, and even if Nuke Gunray died, the potential opportunity to solo an entire tank raid phase that was phase 2 of the tank raid. So it was very controversial. The devs found out about it within a day or two, and I'm pretty sure the devs know about this HanST Stormtrooper Han thing in the Sith Triumvirate raid, and within a few days before I even had the opportunity to make a video on the Nutini team, they put an announcement that they were going to correct and fix it. So that's the history with the Nutini team. And now let's look at the mechanics in the Sith Triumvirate raid to see if this is working as intended. So if you take a look at Lord of Betrayal here from Darth Traya, it reads, whenever an enemy uses an ability, Traya gains 1 stack of Bonds of Weakness and then proceeds to deal special damage to all enemies based on the stack count. And if you can see in parentheses, this is very crucial, this damage can't defeat enemies. So now let's take a look at Stormtrooper Han and how this interacts with him to allow the team to do its thing. Now, Bonds of Weakness is interacting with Stormtrooper Han specifically when he's taunted. So his taunt ability, Draw Fire, while he's taunted, he's going to be supplying the rest of the team 20% turn meter whenever he takes damage, and he's going to be taking Bonds of Weakness damage every single time anyone is using an ability. So basically, he's also not going to be able to die because Bonds of Weakness cannot kill enemies, and Darth Traya will never be able to take a turn. Alright, so now let's look at some teams that you can run HanST Stormtrooper Han with. So there's a few teams that you can run. There's even a Captain Phasma leadership that came out of the woodworks as well, but it seems like Darth Vader and Ventress, specifically Ventress, is the best option. And the strategy here and the basis of it is that you're running a turn meter reducing leadership ability that's unresistible like Darth Vader or Asajj, and you're pairing that team with people that can double tap on their basic like Han Solo, Dooku, etc. So here's one team doing 11 million damage, and here's the Ventress team. You can see this team is doing 42 million damage, and this has a Night Sister Acolyte, which has a nice double tap, and Wampa's really crushing it here, and it goes even higher than that. Here's 111 million damage. I think this is tier 6. I also think this works in the heroic raid as well, so it's very effective. You can see that basically you're able to do huge damage, and what's also interesting is that you can put it on auto basic and still do remarkable damage here with this team. So as you can see, there is a lot of damage potential coming out of these teams with Stormtrooper Han, and I know that the March login rewards here are Stormtrooper Han, so is it kind of a hint that he's going to be a good character in the Sith Raid, or is it something to do with the Solo movie? Who knows? I just think it would be hilarious if they nerfed him while he's the character of the month. That's just not cool in my opinion, especially because in my personal opinion, everything checks out. He is working as intended, and the interaction between his taunt ability and Darth Traya's bonds of weakness is not bugged. It's right there in the fine print. So if he's nerfed, it's going to be huge. It's going to be very controversial, probably even more controversial than the Nutini team that we discussed earlier. Alright, so now let's move the discussion to whether you as a player should invest your precious resources in these characters that make the team here. So I'm going to focus on the Ventress leadership team with HanST, because currently right now across all the tiers of the raid, I think even including the heroic version, that seems to be the leadership and the team that's doing the highest amount of damage. Now that may change, but I'm going to focus on this. Quickly, I want to give a shout out to Milan from Darstar Vent Designers, who takes credit for theory crafting this team, I believe. He's dubbing it the Mayonnaise Vent Cheese Team, so kind of cocky that you put your name on it, but you know what? More power to you, and I do get the pun with the vent since that's your guild name, so very cool. That's the name of the team right now, and here's the resources that you're going to kind of need. You're going to need a Zeta on the Asajj leadership, and you're going to need a basic Omega on Night Sister Acolyte, and then you're going to put characters besides HanST, of course, that double tap on their basic. So Night Sister Acolyte is one of those characters. You can put Han Solo, you can put other characters like Wampa. Wampa seems to be crushing it actually right now. And you know what? No matter what occurs, I believe if Capital Games says, you know, this is not what we intended, this is not what we planned to do, this is really too overpowered, it's breaking the raid, and they change it, they nerf it in some way, and it doesn't work anymore. The majority of these characters on these teams are actually good characters in multiple game modes. Asajj Ventress is great, and a leadership on Asajj some people have already done, so that's going to be good. Night Sister Acolyte makes the Night Sister faction squad if you're forced to switch back to a Night Sister faction team. Wampa's great, Han Solo's amazing in multiple game modes, so no matter what occurs, the majority of the characters aren't going to bite you in the butt if you invest in them. So in my personal opinion, they shouldn't change anything, but even if they do, you're going to still be in a good spot, because these are all Omegas and Zetas that are going to be actually beneficial to you eventually in the game. So that's kind of what I think here. What do you guys think in the comments below? Do you think it's a waste to invest in these characters? Even HanST, for some specific niche teams like Turpentine in the tank raid in phase 3, if you're not doing the super teams, is actually a good character as well, and you can run him in light side TB as well if you've over platooned characters like Old Ben and Kenobi, etc. So I think you're actually safe to invest in these characters no matter what occurs. Alright, so now that we finally covered all the bases together, let's take a look at some gameplay. So this is footage supplied to me from my friend Zero Toxin. This is phase 3 against Darth Traya and tier 6 of the Sith Triumvirate raid. Now I believe this strategy also works in phase 4 if you've taken out Darth Nihilus and Darth Sion as well. So basically this is how it works in phase 3. You want to make sure that you are not toppling her. That allows you the capability to reduce her turn meter with leaderships like Darth Vader and Asajj Ventress. Asajj Ventress's leadership allows you to bypass the impressive, significant, huge tenacity gains. I think Darth Traya and all the other raid bosses gain 50% tenacity every time you hit them. Because the turn meter removal is irresistible, you can reduce her turn meter specifically while she's not toppled, so make sure you're not doing that. And as you can see here, all the characters are taking bonds of weakness damage, and Stormtrooper Han is taunted, and he is supplying turn meter to the rest of the team. Now bonds of weakness damage has brought the entire team down to 1 HP, but bonds of weakness damage, similar to Emperor Palpatine, cannot kill enemies and just brings the characters down to 1 HP. Now as you can see here, auto basic is at play, so you can actually auto and do all of this damage, which is also very impressive. And as you can see as well, you have characters that double tap here, like First Order, TIE Pilot over there, and Night Sister Acolytes, and those double taps do extra attacks which give extra bonds of weakness, which doubles the turn meter gain from Stormtrooper Han. So you're reducing turn meter, you're gaining a bunch of turn meter, you're basically setting yourself up to potentially auto the entire phase. Alright, so that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to bring up here. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. It took actually more time than I expected to make, and I did it quickly during my lunch break, so hopefully everyone kind of learned something, got updated about what's happening, reviewed the history of what happened, so we can all kind of come to a consensus as a community about what we kind of feel about this sort of scenario. Is this too good to be true? Is it working as intended? Should it be changed? I think it's important to understand basically all the bases of what's going on here, and so we can make an educated and logical decision, so eventually when Capital Games potentially makes an announcement of whether or not this is working as intended, we're all on the same page. So please give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I make videos all the time. I know this video is a little bit controversial, but I thought it was important to be made. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next video. I'm working on some more Sith Raid content for Night Sisters and Resistance and Sith, so there's going to be a lot more content coming out on the channel later this week. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.